Thank you for clicking my new video. Want to talk a little bit about what I'm doing here. Last video on my 20 to 250 million, my 300 to 250 million video, I was using two different screens with indicators. And I thought to myself, why am I doing that? So I combined both screens to one screen. You can see I have the G trend, the Lux algo, which is these things letting you know what's going to happen a little bit ahead of the curve. The bottoms and tops, like the tops and bottom indicators right here and right here. And the moving average. So I decided to combine all these things into one for a simpler reference instead of just flipping back and forth. Now, one thing I want to talk about trading is it is very difficult to learn to trade. To not so much day trade, but to swing trade or take trades 2 to 3 days or 1 month, depending on your time frame. Now, for my 1 hour here, I'm using about 1 month out options. Okay, I'm going a month out. When I'm trading with, sorry, I think I'm getting a cold here. When I'm trading with the 15 minutes, that's when I'm doing about a week out. Let's go back to the 1 hour. And I'm just trying to simplify this as much as I can. So check this out. This is really, really easy when you think about what you need to be doing here. You're using this moving average, which has a green line, a brown line, and a yellow line. They're different. They're different averages. I'm not sure, but I think the green line might be a 50-day, and this might be a 100-day, and this might be 500-day. Don't know. Don't care because I figured it out just by watching the action. With the 1 hour, I'm just following the green line. Okay? So when I see a turn like this and it starts coming down, I go and buy a put a month out. That's it, the end. And when I see it turn up again, I sell that put no matter where it is, if it hasn't expired yet or getting close to expiration. Also, I tend not to let the puts expire. Okay? If I have a month out, I tend to get out, a couple days before expiration, even if it's doing while I'm in the money. I don't go to expiration. And then when it turns up right here, I sell the put, I buy a call. All right. And then when it turns again, I sell the call, I buy a put. Always a month out. That's it. That's all you have to do. That's all you have to do for the 1 hour. Now, for the 15 minutes, what I'm doing is something a little different. I'm not following the green line. I'm following the brown line. Okay? So when the brown line turns, I'm buying puts a week out. Okay? When it turns again, I'm buying calls a week out. All right? When it turns again, here's the brown line, puts a week out. So that's how I'm doing it. And then out of that, but I'm moving around 4 piles for averaging. So it's kind of like you have, let's say you start off, you have 4 piles of $50. All right. So let me go through this. 4 piles of $50. All right. Now, if you really want to test the system, by the way, you got to test it blind as time is really going. So you see, like I'm over here. So, when you're looking at a chart and you're saying, what would I have done over here? You realize that you have the benefit of hindsight. You're like, yeah, of course I would have done that. But if you really want to test something, bring a chart all the way to one side and then start looking over here. Let's see, what would I do? What would I do now? What would I do now? And that really clarifies things where you could see the mistakes that you would make in a live training situation. So with the 15 minutes, you're paying attention to this brown line. All right, the brown line's still down. I'm not going to do anything until I see a changeover. All right, brown line's still going down. All right, now it's starting to go up. What would I do? All right, I guess I'm buying a call. All right, so I'm buying a call, and whoops, that didn't work. There's my first $50. All right, so I'm going to wait till it starts coming up. All right, get that first $50 out, and that is really going down. Let's see. Still on the way down, so I'm not going to buy a call yet. I'm going to wait. All right, so about right here, I think I'm going to buy a call. All right, it's still going up, so I'm just going to hold it. Alright, so I'd probably bail here. So that sort of came out a little bit even money, maybe a little bit under. So that's my second 50. Poof. So let's see. Brown line's still going up. Going to buy a third one. Alright, that one did really well. Okay. So I would get out about right there. And let's see. Probably would want to wait for it to start going down somewhat. Alright, seeing it starting to turn. Alright, now right here, I'd buy a put. Alright, puts. Put. Still going down. Alright, right there I would take a loss. So here's another thing with the markets. You could play with 15 minutes, kind of dangerous, but when you use the 1 hour, that's pretty foundational. The gist is, the further back you back up, the more you back up, you're looking at the forest instead of looking at an individual tree. It's easier to trade. But let's keep going here. Alright, I'm using that brown line. Alright, there, start to dip. Alright, so we buy a put. There, wow, okay, so we take the money. Now let's get in again with another 50. See what happens. Alright, boom. We make more money, alright. So yeah, we stumbled a little bit, but let's just keep going, moving like 4 different piles of 50 in and out. Alright. So if you had another 50 in it, it'd still be making money. Then pull it out about right here. Now we're going to sit out and wait for a turn. Alright. Now here's another thing that you could use to back up when something turns. Do you see this Lux Algo indicator? Whenever you see a changeover in the color of the indicator to say green, but you're still in the previous red, that's an indicator that something's going to change over. So let's see if it does. Alright, right away the green ended and went back to red. Alright, let's see. I'm waiting for a turn. There we go. Alright, it's starting to turn, and I'm seeing the Lux Algo indicator turn to green. Now let's see what happens if that continues like it's saying it's going to. Yep, and then that's the end, and that's where we are today. So what have we learned as I went through this? And yes, I'm having problems with this 15 minutes. I'm not having problems with the 1 hour, but the 15 minutes, and that's bugging me. So let me go back. And that's another thing you got to do when you're learning how to trade. You got to figure out what works. Alright, because this is 15 minutes, we went to the very beginning where it started recording. So let's get over here. Alright, so our hypothesis is the brown indicator. Follow that. Okay, so we're following that, and then I'm going to come back to this later. Right now I'm sticking with the 1 hour, and this is real when you're trying to figure something out. You know, you do that test like I showed you, and you got to be careful with it. Do as it goes. Just slowly scroll over and be sticking over here and saying, what would I do here? What would I do here? And this is like way easier with the 1 hour. Okay, I will come back and make another video once I figure out what's going on with this this 15 minutes. On first glance, this seems like this should be working pretty easily, but as you can see during the live test, it was like fumbling around a dark room looking for a light switch. That's not what I want to be doing, because I don't want to just be doing random stuff. So I'll work on this 15 minutes and this chart, and when I figure out something that I think is pretty solid, I will come back to you. But for right now, it's this 1 hour, follow the green, okay, and a month out calls and puts. Alright, thanks for watching.